very interesting going forward. The name of the deck that Nathan put was Trap Storm. So just try to trap something active and get your Aqua Storm off.
Definitely, definitely. Looks like we do have Nathan starting us off again with the Radiant Greninja. Concealed card getting 2 more. Drawing not too much. Again, we have 1 Comfey in the active. We still can Flower Select. That's exactly what we're going to do. Tough choice here between a Switch option and a Super Rod. Very curious to see what Nathan's going to have to choose. It's either immediate advantage now or something later down the line. Looks like they are thinking much, much ahead, choosing the Rod, getting the second Comfey in play. They do have the Switch.
Now, Nathan does play 3 copies of Super Rod to go along with 2 Energy Recycler to help enable that Aqua Storm Kyogre later on in the game. And in general, Kyogre is going to have a little bit better of a matchup against any Pokemon V deck. Michael Pramawat starting the Giratina V is going to be a little rough here, having that 2 prizes in play straight out of the gate, but he is going second, so we'll have access to something like Colress's Experiment before Nathan.
All right, let's see, though, if Michael gets the Colress Experiment. There it is, Pokegear 3.0 gets to look at the top 7 cards. No supporter at all. And again, it has to be that Colress Experiment. Is there anything in the hand? I think all I see is a Spiritomb and Path to the Peak. A couple ways to shut stuff off, but nothing really to get set up. Do we even have energy here to seek some abysses, to abyss seeking?
I don't think I see an energy. It's just going to be a Path to the Peak pass here. And this is not what you want to, the position you want to be in for Michael Pramawat here. Just not really much going on at all. And the hand is not going to be any help. Missing that Pokegear was huge, and Nathan having access to a couple Switch Cart in hand, along with those 2 Comfey, and then that Radiant Greninja, hopefully he'll be able to find a Colress Experiment of his own.
I mean, even if Nathan doesn't, they have been able to Flower Select twice each round. So now there are 4 cards in the Lost Zone, and that's exactly enough for Cramorant. And guess what? Cramorant does 110. How much HP does Giratina V have?
220.
That's 2 turns.
Oh,
2-turn
that
clock,
is 2 turns.
and with nothing in your hand, that's a very scary clock. As Pokegear was played here.
Yeah, both players not hitting the Pokegear 3.0. It must be a skill difference.
Yeah, it's not a real card.
No,
I don't think so.
so.
Colress just a little bit too busy to answer their phone there. And again, something I do want to talk about real quick is we did get to peek at the prizes. Michael did prize something like Roxanne, which I think is absolutely useless in this matchup.
Yeah, Nathan's really able to play around Roxanne to the best of his abilities with something like a Sableye. Granted, with the way this list is built, it's very thin on all of your attackers, playing just 1 of each. So, and just like that, yeah.
Yep.
Michael
Again.
draws nothing that's going to help. That Cramorant takes a 2-hit KO, and just like that, Nathan Ginsburg wins your game 1 here, round 4 to start things off in Knoxville.
Exactly. Don't underestimate the power of Cramorant. I've been on the receiving side of that, where sometimes all it takes is 2 spit innocently to take a knockout on your lone Pokemon V. And with something like Giratina, it's Colress or bust.
Oh, yeah. If you don't see that supporter card, you're going to have a struggle. I know Chip loves to hark on it, but a lot of the times you're just going to be abyss seeking more than any other attack in the deck.
No. I mean, you need the energy first of this, unfortunately, which is very weird to miss out on, especially when it's one of the most played cards in your deck. Again, Michael Pramawat is playing 13 different 13 energies and 4 different types of energies, but unfortunately wasn't able to see any. But again, we still have a game 2, which they're setting up very shortly. Again, huge play, I think, here is Michael just going for the quick concede. Again, he knows he's up against Lost Box.
Yeah.
That's going to take quite a bit of time, so you want to make sure you get the most out of it, right? You want to make sure you get those 2 wins to be able to go 4-0 in today's tournaments. But here we go. Both players are setting up. We're taking a look at the prizes. Speaking of Colress, there he is.
Oh.
There he is again, and again, once again. So 3 Colresses, technically in prize cards, 2 for Nathan, 1 for Michael. You don't like to see that.
Yeah, although both players have a solid starting hand, I believe Nathan is going to go first again because Michael wants to go second in this matchup. Most Lost Zone decks, you want to go second, get that first Cramorant hit to your opponent, and it seems like there's going to be at least a few flower selectings from both sides of the board.
Oh, I fully expect that as, again, Nathan opens up Battle VIP Pass, the most powerful card in the game, but only on the first turn of the game, and it's not going to be in the game for much longer. But yes, Battle VIP Pass. Let's see what Nathan decides to pick here. I'm seeing double Comfey. No, it's going to be the Radiant Greninja. And if I had to guess, maybe one Comfey there. Again, you want to be able to set up the board. You want to draw a card, set up your Lost Zone, and all that jazz here. Again, go for Nathan. Probably get at least 2 cards into the Lost Zone. Sometimes the counts for how many cards you want in the Lost Zone, on the first turn, I think the most ideal is 3. To really be able to get access to something like Barrage Gate on your second turn. But again, it all depends on what you have in hand at the moment.
And that's why I tend to lean more towards these Giratina V-Star decks, because if you have access to 3 Comfey, you can use a single Jet Energy to be able to get all 3 Flower Selectings in one turn.
That is true. Jet Energy, very, very powerful card. Again, it's a 1-card double Comfey.
Yeah.
That feels really good to me. And, but yeah, honestly, that might have to be the key here. The difference between Nathan's decks and Michael's deck is Michael Pramawat is playing Giratina V-Star, which almost feels like not the most important card in this matchup. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you do not want to bench down those 2 prizers. Anytime you have to take a 1-prize knockout with your Giratina V-Star and Lost Impact getting rid of 2 energies, it's not going to be the best. Granted, it all depends on what route of attack Nathan's going to choose for this match. We only saw 1 turn from Nathan last game, so there's a chance that Michael just does not know what's in his deck really. Now, with some of the cards, you can kind of tell, like if Energy Recycler gets removed, or the Pokestop that got removed in the previous game could give a little hint. Michael's one of the best players in the game, knows a lot about the meta and the matchups, can kind of guess, has also played some Kyogre himself in the past.
Oh, 100%. And of course, you get those energy clues. You see a Psychic Energy, there's probably a Sableye. No, if you see a Dark Energy, you're expecting a Roaring Moon. I don't think they've shown like the Lightning Energy to show off the Iron Hands. Again, sometimes, let's talk about the goal here for each player. Nathan's goal, take 2 prizes, then take 4? Is that the goal still? Or do you think, oh, they can't take 4 unless Michael, again, benches multiple Giratina Vs. But that is an option for Nathan.
Well, the thing is, if Nathan gets a fast Iron Hands EX, Michael's going to have to respond with a Giratina. And if he doesn't have access to that on the bench to evolve into the V-Star and then take the quick knockout, Iron Hands is going to take 4 prizes by itself.
Ooh, that is actually very, very scary here as Nathan, again, ends their turn with 2 cards in the Lost Zone. So maybe Michael a little bit safer against the Iron Hands, but we'll have to see here as Michael does open up with the Battle VIP Pass as well. Again, only fair. Let's see what they decide. Michael here just going through their deck. Fun fact, I've actually spoken to Michael in the past. I've been able to interview him, and he's one to not really count his prizes, believe it or not.
Yeah.
He tends to learn about it throughout playing the game. But I think in this specific deck, in Giratina V-Star, this might be one where Michael's really counting them out. Again, you're sending cards to the Lost Zone. You need to know what resources you have as Michael, again, opens up the Comfey and the Cramorant. Goal is to spit and take that first prize.
Well, the goal is to get 4 in the Lost Zone first, and you need a Colress's Experiment to do that. Getting rid of a Giratina V-Star is going to not be too detrimental here.
And then Concealed Cards draws 2. Do they get a Colress's Experiment? Yes, they do, and a Battle VIP Pass. That's probably the best Concealed Cards today. Well, we've only started today. As, again, Battle VIP Pass gets to find the Giratina V. Might as well just set that up just in case. And looks like that's the only grab, opting to keep the last bench space open.
Yeah, you don't really want to bench both of the Vs just for the chance of the potential 4 prizes towards the end of the game. And you don't want to be left with none, because then you can't respond to whatever 2 prizer that Nathan brings up.
Yep, and here we go. Colress's Experiment, very powerful card. Gets to look at the 5 cards in hand, send 2 to the Lost Zone, 3 in the hand. Great way to refill your hand and fill up the Lost Zone. We do see another Giratina V-Star in that Colress. Looks like it's also going to the Lost Zone.
Yeah, you really just need 1 for this game.
Yes, and last choice here to send. That's a tough one. Again, looks like it is going to be the Path to the Peak. Maybe opting to, they both want to have access to Greninja. But there we go. Jet Energy forces the Comfey into the active. Flower Selecting. Is it as good as the Concealed Cards? We don't know, because Michael's not showing us. And it's going to be switch card, actually. So the other card must be really good. And it's the Lost Vacuum. I actually really like that grab. Lost Vacuum, it's a way to get rid of some resources on the field. But more importantly, in Lost Box, it's a great way to fill the Lost Zone.
Yeah, and it's also a way to safely play this Path to the Peak out to shut down the concealed cards from Radiant Greninja on Nathan's side of the board. And then next turn, you can just get rid of your own Path to the Peak with the Lost Vacuum. You already bumped 2 cards into your Lost Zone, and just one more enables Mirage Gate to be live.
And big flower selecting here on Nathan's side. It was Boss's orders versus the Pokegear. Nathan opting it for the Pokegear to really try and get that Chorus Experiment. We're going to see the Nest Ball here. Finds another Comfey. That's going to be very important indeed. But again, Nathan's going to find out they have 2 Choruses in the prize cards. So this, again, this Pokegear is going to have to put in the work.
Yeah, Nathan's going to try to thin the deck out as much as possible. We might even see flower selecting before the Pokegear if Nathan has it in hand, just to continually dig for those cards.
Definitely. Does have a couple of switch cards in hand. Opts to use one here. Definitely. Thinning is winning indeed. Ooh, Lightning Energy and a switch. Again, Nathan only plays 2 Lightning Energy, so if this one goes to the Lost Zone, he'll only have access to 1, but it's going to be the switch card. Opting to keep the Lightning Energy.
And again, it also gives that information to Pramawat.
There we go.
Oh, first card. Nice.
Yep,
all right.
Yep. Chorus on speed dial there. Easy choice, easy choice. Again, Chorus Experiment, definitely the key card in these Lost Zone decks. You know, you can't really play the deck unless there's cards in the Lost Zone. But
well, you can. It's just not going to be fun for you.
Definitely, definitely. And here we go. Chorus Experiment looks at the top 5. What are we looking for here, Jeremy?
That Iron Hands is pretty good. Not for this turn, but potentially next turn. I mean, I guess with a switch card and
a third Comfey, potentially.
The third Comfey in that Chorus Experiment, you can get there. But I don't know if Nathan has everything to... Oh, no, with the switch card there. This Chorus might have actually just got there for Nathan.
Again, I believe the missing piece has to be just how many Mirage Gates you have.
Yeah, there's 1 in hand already, so that at least guarantees you just an arm press to take the knockout on this Cramorant. If you don't take the knockout on the Cramorant, Cramorant's going to take 2 prizes by itself, and that's basically an Iron Hands EX in this matchup.
Definitely, definitely. You want to put in the pressure here. Benches the third Comfey. And I'm looking at the hand. There is 1 Mirage Gate.
So if this finds another Mirage Gate here, that's golden.
No, it's just the Mawile, unfortunately. Again, you mentioned it earlier, not too good in this matchup. Looking at the hand, I think it might just have to be that arm press.
Yeah, the arm press is where you're going to have to go. You don't have access to a Cramorant here.
What about Moonlight Shuriken? We do have Water Energy in the hand and the Mirage Gate. Moonlight Shuriken.
Yeah, that's much better here.
Yeah, let's take 2 prizes. I think that's
I like
way
taking 2
better.
prizes.
Yeah.
It shuts down the flower selectings from Pramawat's side of the board by taking knockout on both of the Comfey. And Radiant Greninja, 130 HP. Cramorant does not take a knockout.
Oh, that's the best strategy against Cramorant, right? You don't knock out the Cramorant. That means they have to expend a switch card to even get into a flower selecting, which now they're both about to get knocked out. This is a very, very powerful play for Nathan. Again, 130 HP. Greninja is going to be sitting safe unless, of course, Michael decides to attack with the Giratina V. And there it is. Radiant Greninja with the Moonlight Shuriken attack. Some would say this is probably the most powerful Pokemon we have in the format, just because you have concealed cards to really set up your hand, your board, even your discard pile. And the Moonlight Shuriken attack is just so powerful. As you see here, 90 damage to 2 Pokemon, 2 Comfeys, getting KO'd. Nathan Ginsburg taking the lead.
Yeah, this is huge. Now, Pramawat does have some play, especially top decking that Comfey. So with Comfey and the Lost Vacuum in hand, he will be able to get to 7. That means Mirage Gate's live for him as well.
How about let's make it a little easier here and just go for the Pokegear, get a Chorus.
No.
Let's see here, flower selecting 2 cards. Ooh, looks like the first one might be the pick here. No, pick to the Lost Zone, sending the Super Rod there, opting to grab the Nest Ball. Interesting choice.
Yeah, Nest Ball just trying to set up maybe another Giratina V. Michael worried about this one getting knocked out after using a Shred to take the knockout on Radiant Greninja. But this Giratina deck has kind of evolved to not play Manaphy throughout these tournaments. And we've seen these players get greedier and greedier, and it opens up a play like Nathan just did with that Moonlight Shuriken.
Again, sometimes you do have to sacrifice those support Pokemon to increase consistency, as we saw in Game 1. Sometimes the only thing that beats Giratina is Giratina itself. But here we go. Looks like, I believe this was the Nest Ball play. Michael just going through their deck, how many energies they have. But it looks like it is going to be the second Giratina V. Very, very important card here. And yeah, I believe we're just setting up for the Shred. Shred, 160 damage should be enough to knock out the Radiant Greninja. But Giratina V only having 220 HP means that maybe Nathan can set up something like the Roaring Moon and not even have to use Frenzied Gouging.
And Pramawat, all right, they're just talking a little bit, but grab the Psychic and the Grass Energy on the new Giratina V. That way you can evolve into the V-Star if you have it on the bench. Now, one thing he is missing is an energy, the third energy to be able to attack. Now, he does have Iono in hand, which could be a good way to try to draw into it if you whiff a Colress's Experiment off this Pokegear.
But we don't whiff it here. Chorus is going to answer the call. Yes, he is. There it is. Chorus's Experiment, only fair. And again, with that, Michael's going to be, what, 9 cards in the Lost Zone. You could even potentially go for a Sableye if the cards fall right here. But here it is.
I don't know if they're falling right.
We'll have to see. Chorus Experiment, 5 cards, 5 big ones. Sableye, Counter, Catcher, Boss. Ooh, great cards here. Very curious to see.
They're all great. I would want to keep all of them. Maybe the Water Energy can get Lost Zoned, but
this is the toughest thing about playing these Lost Box decks, is this exact choice where you just need everything.
Yeah, and like, can I switch hands?
And the fact that it doesn't, it goes to the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile means that something like Pal Pad, Super Rods, they don't work here. And it's going to be the Super Rod and the Boss's orders there. I think that is a fine choice. It's just going to be concealed cards, draw 2. I'm curious. Do they still have another energy in hand? Looks like they do have the Mirage Gate.
He did not. So he needed the energy, but also the switch out.
Oh.
So concealed cards found a Mirage Gate, which technically is both.
That is both.
He did lose. He's down 2 Super Rod. And looking at the list, there's 3. So Michael Pramawat's going to be playing with the fewest resources available left in this game.
Well, at least there's still 1 Super Rod in the deck. And with that, there again, Mirage Gate attaching the Water Energy to the Comfey. Again, 1 retreat should be easy to pay there. And at least we have the Shred. We have the attack. We're taking this 1 turn at a time here. And here we go. Let's see what else Michael has to play. They do have the Giratina V-Star, so it'd be interesting if they decide to evolve the second one there. But no, it looks like they just are going to go for the Shred attack. 160 damage, more than enough to take a knockout there on the Radiant Greninja. Back to Nathan. Top decks, the Battle VIP Pass, not something you want to see. Flower selecting. Ooh.
That was a very hard 2 cards, Pokestop and Colress's Experiment. Obviously, you're going to take the Colress's Experiment so you can get up to 10 this turn. But the Pokestop is something that's needed, especially if you're going to try to go for a Roaring Moon EX here.
Definitely. Here we go. Colress's Experiment is played. Double Mirage Gate. There's the Roaring. Triple Mirage Gate and the Roaring Moon. If I had to guess, 1 Mirage Gate should at least hit the Lost Zone here, and maybe the Nest Ball potentially, or a second Mirage Gate. We'll have to see.
Yeah, but he's missing a stadium now, and it's very rough.
That means we're going to have to do Frenzied Gouging potentially. Again, they only play 2 Pokestops, and yeah, again, if you attack with Frenzied Gouging, you leave yourself with, what, 30 HP?
Yeah.
And that's Sableye. That's why Sableye has a big smile, you know?
Oh, yeah. Sableye, Cramorant, even Comfey can get in there and get a knockout if you want.
Would love to see a spinning turn or spinning slash. I forget the name of the attack, but the Comfey attack for knockout. That would be kind of funny. But, you know, this game is still very close. I don't think we have enough momentum to flex that.
Yeah, so Nathan hitting 10 in the Lost Zone now means Sableye is also an option to start using Lost Mine this turn. It's not going to be answering the Giratina V right away, but you can set up knockouts for the following turn.
I mean, Nathan's down to 4 prizes here. Theoretically, if he takes 1 knockout with the Sableye and splits 3 damage counters into both Giratina, that's pretty much just waiting for Kyogre.
Yeah.
But you took a third. You're taking a 3rd prize.
What's that mean?
A an even more important supporter card, Roxanne, should be coming up shortly. That's always the scary thing, right? When you're playing against Giratina, Roxanne, Path, counter catchers, the comeback mechanics are just crazy. But here we do see the energy recycler putting back in a couple of energies. A good and a bad thing. Again, if we see a Roxanne in the future, you don't want to draw into those. But we're probably not if we're going to use Mirage Gate right off the bat. Able to accelerate potentially an energy to Comfey.
Yeah.
Just to get a retreat. And, of course, the energy into Sableye to pay for the Lost Mine. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Lost Mine. If you have 10 cards in the Lost Zone, put 12 damage counters anywhere you want. Very powerful attack.
Yeah, and again, Nathan's going to be very aware of not making that Roxanne live. You can take a knockout on a Comfey pretty easily and just set up some damage counters, like you were saying, maybe 30 on the Giratinas, but you definitely want to be aware of that, especially with the quality of cards in Nathan's hand right now. And yeah, just 6 and 6 on those Giratinas, hopefully setting up for maybe a boss Aqua Storm play later on in the game too.
That would be big indeed. But yeah, very, very heads-up play here by Nathan. Let's see how Michael responds. Again, something of note, Michael, it's going to take 4 turns for Michael to win this game. Nathan has time to really set up that board, the ideal board he wants, as Michael plays the Jet Energy, goes into the Comfey. When this lasts, with one more flower selecting, they will be over the threshold as well. But before that, let's go ahead and Iono first. Nathan did play around Roxanne. However, Iono can be used any time of the game. Both players shuffle up their hand, put it into the bottom of their deck, and both players draw up to how many prize cards they have. Effectively a judge at this point, since both Nathan and Michael do have 4 prizes each.
A little bit better than a judge, though, because that means all those Mirage Gates are on the bottom of the deck for Nathan now. And while Nathan was doing his best to play around Roxanne, it's hard to play around Iono. And usually for these Giratina lists, we see 2 Roxanne. Pramawat's going with the 1-1 split here with the Iono.
Something that is definitely paying off as we just get a simple retreat into Cramorant. It's been innocently very easy knockout. Luckily, Nathan does have a response here. Ideally, they do have a Cramorant themselves if they choose to take a knockout. As flower selecting, just able to get an energy in hand, Battle VIP. Pretty easy choice there, but not the choice you necessarily wanted to make. You wanted something a little bit more substantial than a lightning energy in this position.
Really hoping for those Colchis experiments in the prize cards right about now.
Well, it looks like Nathan is about to take a prize. If I remember right, the Colchis experiment, we're in the middle section of his prize cards. So he should be able to draw one here as Spit instantly again takes knockout on another Cramorant, and there it is, a Colchis experiment in hand. But again, Nathan has 3 cards, three prizes left. Roxanne is live. Let's see what Michael decides to do. No Roxanne in hand just yet. Does have the Colchis experiment though. Has 5 cards. Once again, what are they looking for? Spiritomb probably easy choice to get sent to the Lost Zone there. No big Vs from Nathan besides something like Pidgeot. Be kind of funny to stick a Pidgeot on the field thanks to something like Spiritomb, but that's a very niche scenario. As, again, both players have more than enough cards in the Lost Zone to use whatever they want in the deck. As Flower selecting, once again, 2 more cards here. A switch? What was the third choice? The last Super Rod,
yeah.
Makes sense, makes sense.
So Pramawat's able to build his hand back up yet again, but was not able to really get a good shuffle yet. So that means the Roxanne is still on the bottom of the deck along with the hand that he previously had. And has an attacker in that Giratina V-Star with that Jet Energy, but it's going to be a couple Lost Impacts and a Star Requiem to be able to try to clean up here. Now, Nathan's hand is nothing much but that Colchis experiment, so we're going to have to see how he's able to overcome this, and a lot of energies in hand. That's the risk you get from playing that energy recycler early.
Exactly, and this is it. This Colchis experiment is the world. Couple more energies, a mana fee.
We could Rain Splash.
we could Rain Splash indeed. We do play water energies, but we do have the Nest Ball. Can we set up another attacker? Is there a Psychic Energy in hand potentially? Again,
So Nathan's going to have to keep the Switch Cart, keep those energies, at least a couple of them, or one of them in the Nest Ball. So you can Nest Ball shuffle the deck, retreat or Switch Cart into the Comfey, most likely retreat since you have the energy in the active, and hope to hit one of those Mirage Gates just so you can get something charged up.
Well, here we go. Big flower selecting does get a counter catcher and an escape rope. Counter catcher is live right now. Is Nathan going to choose to keep it? We do have a couple of switch options in hand, so it looks like it is the choice. Let's see what else here. Again, it just has to be the retreat into another Comfey, another flower selecting. What do we get? That was a chorus. That was a chorus experiment. Very big flower selecting here. And
now, it's interesting that Nathan hasn't played the nest ball yet to really shuffle the deck up, because those Mirage Gates are still on the bottom. There's no doubt about it. And
maybe now is the time. Maybe he was thinking that he didn't have a chorus in that other hand.
Yeah.
So most likely than not, they were able to maybe flower select into one. But now's the time. I need something else. I need those Mirage Gate. Let's shuffle up. Or not. Let's go ahead and flower selecting. Sends the Pidgeot to the Lost Zone. Energy Recycler in hand now as well. There's a lot of resources here.
Yeah, so he's building up. With the slow play this turn, he's building up just to do a big Aqua Storm on the next turn. It's going to allow Pramawat to go down to one prize card. But as long as Nathan is able to keep his hand, and honestly, maybe with all the energy in hand, you kind of want Pramawat to use Roxanne.
But Michael Pramawat here with the water energy, Radiant Greninja themselves, with two prizes remaining. They're going to go ahead and Moonlight Shuriken take the second game here. Nathan sending that Manaphy into the Lost Zone apparently wasn't quite the right choice.
All right, well, we're going to have to throw to a quick break. We'll be back with game.
And we're back here with the Pokemon action. Again, Michael Pramawat versus Nathan Ginsburg. Game 3. Missed a couple of turns here. Again, Michael just went first. Looks like it did a couple of flower selecting. Nathan Ginsburg also did a couple of flower selecting. They both have about a couple of cards in the Lost Zone here. And more importantly, again, Nathan Ginsburg, this is going to be their second flower select. All they have right now are 2 Comfeys, not much else.
Yeah, there is 4 cards in the Lost Zone. Started with the Colossus Experiment and was able to, thankfully, find another Comfey, because bench Pokemon were a little bit of a struggle this turn so far for Nathan. And now having access to a second Nest Ball here is going to help him get the Cramorant knockout, it looks like, as long as you have an energy to retreat or another switch out. And having the Pokestop there, going to be able to get quite a little bit of advantage here.
No, definitely. Again, going second, always good for the Lost Box player, able to take the early aggression. Again, Nathan is about to take a knockout on the lone Comfey, but let's see. I'm curious how Michael Pramawat's going to respond here. Again, they only got 1 card into the Lost Zone despite having 2 Comfeys. And ideally, if you get to 7 this turn, you could use the Moonlight Shuriken attack again to take out 2 Comfeys. I think that would have been ideal, but it's not an ideal world, unfortunately, as Michael Pramawat does open the Colors Experiment, though. Here we go, 5 cards, gets a second Colors Experiment in hand, does have the Path to the Peak as well, but not much else. Maybe, sending the Giratina V-Star there and the energy to the Lost Zone. Looking at that, they do have the Cramorant at least to respond to this Cramorant with this flower selecting. That does put 4 cards into the Lost Zone. Looks like it is going to be the Path to the Peak there, opting to keep the Nest Ball. Something I've noticed with these Lost Box players, they really do prioritize keeping the ball search cards, just because, Pokemon are pretty important.
Yeah, I mean, it's the name of the game, so might as well keep it important. I want to talk about the ending of that game 2 that we saw just a little bit. We saw in the beginning, Nathan was able to get the Moonlight Shuriken, take a knockout on 2 Comfeys on Michael's side of the board, but then play it super slow, setting up the Aqua Storm on the double Giratina V-Star to hopefully clean things up with 4 prizes, not really walk into Roxanne, but then had to attack with Cramorant, and really it was just looking kind of like that. But Pramawat had the Moonlight Shuriken just ready to go. Nathan Lost Zoned the Manaphy off of a previous Colossus Experiment, and just like that, Nathan got a taste of his own medicine there, and it's a Moonlight Shuriken.
Definitely. Michael was saying, you know what, I'm the one who's going to use the water attacker for multiple prizes. But let's see if Nathan can respond here. Does have the Pokestop. This is their last stadium now. Again, Pokestop able to discard the top 3 cards. If any are items, put them into your hand. Does play the Radiant Greninja, so they will have access to concealed cards since Path of the Peak was bumped. Is going to discard that Lightning Energy. Draws 2 cards here. Does get Mirage Gate and a Pal Pad. We're 5 cards now into the Lost Zone. Pokestop is being played. Chorus, what are you doing there? That's not what we want to see. But we do grab the Escape Rope. That is at least a switch option. I believe there's no ideal attacker just yet, as Pal Pad is going to be played. Just putting back in those 2 Chorus's Experiment. I believe it might just be a switch into the Comfey, hopefully draw into a supporter here. And again, ideally we get to 7 this turn. And I'd like to see maybe a Radiant Greninja knock out 1 Comfey, set up damage onto the Giratina, and then just wait again.
Yeah. Really, just Nathan needs to get an attack off this turn, no matter what, if it's Radiant Greninja or his own Cramorant, or even just setting up something like the Iron Hands. We haven't really seen a 2-prizer from Nathan so far in this match, but game 1 lasted 2 turns. And then game 2, we were just going to see the eventual Aqua Storm, but Radiant Greninja shone brightly for both of these players.
As Flower selecting is play. Hey, you wanted to see a 2-prizer.
I did, yeah.
How about 2 of them right there? Unfortunately, you can only keep 1 of them. Big choice, though. Again, this is one of those routes. There's so many lines as a Lost Box player, and with a Flower selecting like this, you essentially shut off an entire route. So it's just a matter of what route do I want to shut off, and it looks like it's going to be the Roaring Moon. Again, Roaring Moon as Michael. Now I'm feeling a lot safer with my Giratina V-Stars. But Iron Hands is just that powerful. As we do see a Pokegear. Do we find a Chorus? Wow, there it is, right. Answering his phone. And that means Nathan.
Is Pokegear a phone?
You can make calls on a Pokegear, right? You can call your mom from it.
All right. Well, I don't know. I don't think my mom has a Pokegear to call back.
Oh, okay.
We need to get on the family plan, maybe.
Yeah, probably. As Chorus definitely on that plan there.
Chorus definitely has that family plan. You have to support all your kids. All the Comfeys.
And the Sableye, I think the Sableye is the one you really do have to support.
Yeah.
As, again, Chorus Experiment is played here. That means we're up to 8 cards in the Lost Zone. We could potentially see a Sableye this turn.
Well, we see that Manaphy. And if we know anything about last game, Nathan's going to maybe be eyeing down to keep that card.
Oh, it looks like he's eyeing to send the Kyogre and the Recycle Energy?
Yeah,
Energy Recycler?
It might just be an Iron Hands world here.
And just like that, 2 lines are shut off. We don't have our Roaring Moon, our easy V-Star knockout. Now we also don't have access to our Kyogre, which is our 4-prize, 3-prize swing. Our lines are getting slimmer, but doesn't mean we're out just yet. Because again, Iron Hands EX is just such a good line. And if you can do that right now, go down to 3, Michael Pramawat technically does not have the appropriate response just yet. But we'll have to see here. Again, Nathan benches the Iron Hands, has a couple of Mirage Gates, does have the Super Rod as well here. Yeah. By a couple, I mean, I think he has 3 Mirage Gates in hand.
This is probably the safest we can see Iron Hands EX in this matchup be used, because Pramawat only has 4 in the Lost Zone and is going to have his last Comfey knocked out. So if Pramawat wants to use Roxanne, there's no Chorus's Experiment. There's no getting up to 7 for Mirage Gate, and that means Iron Hands is just ready to amp you very much again next turn.
That's true. Again, with 4 cards in the Lost Zone, it's a matter of Chorus Experiment and maybe something like the Lost Vacuum, or even just a switch into another Comfey. There's a lot of options here, but again, we'll have to see what Michael has in store. As right now, we do have Nathan going for that Mirage Gate, gets 2 energy onto the Iron Hands. We need 2 more. And
well, this is the second one, so we're getting 2 more.
Then we just have it here. There it is. It's going to be another Dark Energy and the Lightning Energy, I believe. Oh, it looks like it's going to be attached to the Sableye. I like this play. If we have an attach from hand, might as well get the Sableye ready.
Those Dark Energy aren't doing anything anymore with that Roaring Moon EX in the Lost Zone. And being able to set up that Lost Mine for the following turn off another Chorus is just great. And having the switch card here to amp you very much is going to put Nathan very much ahead.
Yes, there it is for 4 energy amp you very much. Very powerful attack. Wait, before anything, let's drop that mana fee.
Might be needed, yeah.
Let's amp you very much. 120 damage. Let's take an extra prize. 2 prizes for Nathan, going down to 3. And just like that, we're in Roxanne range. But we're probably not going to see that right now. Pramawat's going to go ahead and draw their card. Does have the Chorus Experiment. Going to use the Nest Ball first. Thin out the deck. Maybe now find another Comfey, potentially. Maybe another Giratina V. But it is going to be the Comfey because, again, 4 cards in the Lost Zone. Chorus puts 2. We need at least 1 more in there. Let's see what they have. Again, we have a lot of switches. We have a lot of live cards here for Michael. And something I haven't seen yet. Does he have the Giratina V-Star in hand?
I do believe so, yeah. It's at the very back. Has the Mirage Gate, 2 of them, in fact. So this Chorus Experiment needs to find a switch card, which it does right away. There's also that Jet Energy you can use. And with that, you can use the flower selecting of the Comfey found off Nest Ball to reach that critical 7 and be able to use that Mirage Gate and Lost Impact to take a knockout on this Iron Hands.
Definitely. I think Nathan is not going to like that. This was a lot of resources spent onto this Iron Hands, and it is one of their last real tech attackers. But let's see what else they have here. Again, Pramawat going for that flower selecting is going to be the Water Energy or the Mirage Gate. Looks like opting to keep the Water Energy for now. Let's see what else they have. There it is, the Mirage Gate. Again, as long as you have 7 cards in the Lost Zone, you get to attach 2 different colored energies to your Pokemon. And there it is, the Psychic and the Grass Energy to that Giratina V-Star, lacking 1 more plus the V-Star to get this knockout.
Yeah, and it's going to be a Jet Energy and that V-Star to go along with it, and that's going to be an easy KO on this Iron Hands EX. Pramawat's going to be able to even Lost Zone 2 energies, which means that with this second Mirage Gate, you can just set up almost that 10 on the next turn for something like a Star Requiem.
Definitely. Sometimes, sending energy to the Lost Zone sounds like a bad thing. But, if you're trying to hit specific numbers, especially when you're down a couple of Comfeys, Lost Impact sometimes does the job here, as it looks like it's going to be an energy attached to that Comfey. Should still attach the Jet Energy, I believe. We're just really accelerating these energies to have in play, to potentially play around something like a Roxanne, and just essentially try and set up an almost checkmate board. Or you want to have what you have in board. As we do see a concealed cards, draws 2 extra cards, Jet Energy, shoots that Giratina to the active. Just going to have to say that's probably the scariest feeling, just having this giant dragon of a Pokemon shoot up to the active and just able to do 280 damage. So much energy in play. And mind you, Pramawat started with no energy, I believe, for the start of this turn. Just the power of these Lost Zone decks, the power of the Mirage Gate. As we pass back to Nathan, how can Nathan respond here?
Well, so it's tied 3-3 prizes now. You don't have your Roaring Moon anymore to be able to Frenzied Gouging this Giratina V-Star. So Nathan's going to have to try to utilize the 1 boss's orders in the deck. I guess you have Escape Rope. Escape Rope can bring forth something active. Then you can Sableye and just kind of hope and wait and kind of disrupt Pramawat a little bit here. But Nathan's hand is big enough to where he has a lot of options, and it's going to start with the Chorus Experiment.
Definitely. Technically, if you think about it, as long as Nathan is able to take a prize every single turn, he should win this game. Again, Nathan will only play single prize attackers from now on, as, again, Michael just has to deal with that. But again, Giratina V-Star in the active right now is pretty big to deal with. That means something like a Cram hit isn't that good in this scenario, because it's a 3-hit knockout, and I don't think you're going to have 3 turns to finish that off. But something like the Sableye, though, is the perfect attacker, because that Lost Mine can put damage absolutely anywhere on the field, as long as you can knock out the Comfey, knock out the Cramorant, knock out the Radiant Greninja. Eventually, with 3 Sableyes, technically you win the game. It's just a matter of, is that possible? Can you do that? Do you have the resources to shuffle back in that Sableye or have extra Sableyes? We'll have to see.
There's at least a couple Super Rod in Nathan's hand here, so as long as there's no Roxanne or Iono from Pramawat's side of the board, he will have access to pretty much anything he needs to recover. Having also Nest Ball in hand means Cramorant can come out, or finding the Sableye again after the Super Rod. Nathan's in a very good position here.
Something that could happen, though, too, is maybe something like a Moonlight Shuriken. 90 damage on 2 Pokemon in play that would be pretty big, because then you could maybe set up just a Sableye big swoop, take all 3 prizes in one turn potentially. And as we do see, let's see, an escape rope here. Can he do the Moonlight Shuriken? He does have one Mirage Gate.
Yeah, there's a Mirage Gate. I think it would require a Super Rod, but you also don't have the water energy in hand to be able to attach, so it would require 2 Mirage Gates. Now, it's going to depend what this flower selecting finds from this Comfey, but I think with Nathan trying to play the Super Rod first. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That was a terrible Pokestop, but at least you got him out of the deck. It's fine.
Yep.
So with Nathan eyeing down the Super Rod here first, that means he's going to put back that water energy, just give him more chances to draw into it, but also, wow, okay, no.
Oh.
Just trying to go the Iron Hands route here, and maybe we'll try to find that yet again.
Again, I mentioned earlier, so many lines. Despite losing 2 of them, that's still an option. Again, yes, Nathan could take a knockout with Sableye potentially this turn. Or if they can get the Iron Hands this turn, they could go amp you very much, essentially try and set up checkmate on board. But just like that, it's going to be Cramorant instead. Not too bad either.
And I think going this route is just due to the fact that Pramawat promoted the Comfey with the energy, kind of just forcing Nathan to take a knockout here, or else he's just going to get free value out of it.
No, exactly. And with that, again, we mentioned earlier, as long as Nathan can take a prize every single turn, they should be A-okay here. And, you know, taking a knockout with the Cramorant, where it's not that you don't invest too many resources into because of the, no energy requirement. That's a pretty good trade, in my opinion, as we do see the Spit innocently bring Nathan down to 2 as Michael Pramawat goes for the Pokegear. Who's calling? Taurus is there. And Boss's orders, not who we're looking for.
Roxanne
Roxanne isn't home.
Looked at the caller ID and just decided not to answer.
Neither Roxanne nor Iona, unfortunately, looks like it is going to be Getsis. With the Boss's orders, is there anything in particular we want to boss? Maybe the Sableye, potentially. But again, Cramorant is just as good as an attacker. But technically, here, if you boss order something like the Sableye, take a knockout on Cramorant, and if they only attack with the Cramorant, then that's not setting up game. Greninja does have 130 HP. The most ideal potential attacker for Nathan is potentially that Sableye to 110, and that 10 extra damage onto Greninja. Very close game here.
Lost mine yet again.
But
Pramawat does have the Iono in hand, and this is going to be huge. Going to be able to put Nathan's hand down to 2 and put all of the great cards that was in his hand to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like they didn't need to call anyone from the Pokegear, but there it is. Iono, Nathan with 2 cards, Michael with 3. What do they have? Technically, both players have attackers on board. Again, I think I would have liked to see the counter catcher earlier for Michael, but let's see what else he has.
That was not a bad Pokestop for Pramawat here.
Oh, definitely. Mirage Gate means that's extra energies, as we do see the Lost Vacuum getting rid of the Pokestop. Again, I believe that's the last Pokestop.
Yeah,
that's another way to get resources.
More importantly, going up to 10 in the Lost Zone, so you can use Star Requiem. That means Pramawat has 2 attacks lined up with that Giratina.
That is true. So Michael does have attacks lined up. It's a matter of if Nathan here can really finish the game. Again, Nathan also has 2 attacks lined up with the Cramorant and the Sableye, but he needs 3. No, actually, that's 2 attacks. No, excuse me. There's only 1 attack lined up because there's only 1 Sableye, because that Cramorant was going to get knocked out. Promotes the Comfey here. Does get the Dark Energy, so they have the retreat at the very least.
Yeah, that was a very risky promote, too, just because the hand for Nathan was Energy Recycler and a Comfey. Neither of those cards are able to retreat Comfey, and now you see the Recycler just bringing back 1 Psychic Energy, but this is going to help shuffle the deck, so you can hopefully draw into something like a Super Rod or those Colress's Experiments that were on the bottom.
Smart play. Sometimes you don't need the full effect of your cards. Sometimes all you need is that quick shuffle, especially with Iono in the format. And again, Psychic Energy is not the worst energy to have in the deck, since again, double Sableye is essentially, might be the game plan here. Does get the switch card and a Lightning Energy, so they could go into another Comfey here if they choose to.
I think you kind of have to. You just need to have something for next turn. So we're going to see the Lightning Energy go to the Lost Zone, and the switch card go to the hand. You can flower selecting yet again, And with the energy to retreat here, oh no, concealed cards first. Does find another switch though, so we'll have a lot of outs.
Definitely, definitely. Again, this was an Iono to 2, and yet Nathan here was still already able to see 4 cards plus an extra 2. They're going to see 6 cards just with Pokemon abilities. No, never mind. We're going straight into the Sableye, taking a knockout on that Cramorant, doing 10 damage onto that Radiant Greninja, setting it up. That Radiant Greninja now only has 120 HP. If Michael has something like a switch card potentially and heal up this Radiant Greninja, that is going to make things a lot tougher for sure, as Michael does promote the Greninja with the one, with the singular damage.
Yeah, and I think players are just making sure who is turn 1, who's turn 0. It looks like time was called on Nathan's turn. Even though he attacked, Pramawat did not draw a card for the turn, so he's going to be turn 1 here in time. That means the last 2 turns are going to be for Pramawat, and then 1 more turn for Nathan here.
All right, let's see what they have in store. Michael, what do we have here? I see a Mirage Gate. I see, is that a Jet Energy? Looks like we're going to conceal cards. No, we're going to Mirage Gate first. Thin out the deck. Again, we have enough energies to close out the game. That Giratina V-Star with 3 energies is more than enough. This Mirage Gate could go into the Greninja to pay for a retreat, but maybe more importantly, thin out the deck. It does get 2 cards out of the deck here. And as we do see, yes, Mirage Gate for the Water Energy and the Grass Energy. What else do we have in store? Michael Pramawat still has a very, very big deck to deal with. So maybe he'd love to maybe draw into something like the Roxanne, because Nathan did get to refill quite healthily there, as well as get a prize card, as Michael does attach to the Radiant Greninja.
Now this is more just a bluff here, because I do believe Michael only plays 2 Water Energies, 1 in the Lost Zone and then 1 there. Moonlight Shuriken's not available to him. Even so, with that Manaphy in play, it's just a 1 prize turn. But just trying to thin the deck out so you can try to draw into what you need. And I think, yeah, just concealed cards here. Do we see a switch card? Color's Experiment.
That's 5 cards. Switch card is the name. There's a switch. There's a Roxanne. Last card.
Oh.
Giratina V. And there's no way to really dig any more here, because if you drop a Compe, that's a
free
target.
Prize. Yeah, yeah.
And I think it might just have to be Retreat, Lost Impact, or Star Requiem.
I like the Star Requiem here.
And let's see what you've got. Nothing else. Here it is, V-Star, Star Requiem, 10 cards in the Lost Zone, knock out anything. And back to Nathan.
This is going to be a big turn for Nathan here. Last turn of the game has the Mirage Gate that equals the Psychic energy you can grab, but you still need a way to get the Sableye back in the deck and then back in play.
That's 2 different cards. That's Super Rod plus a Nest Ball. There's only, what do we have access to? Flower Selecting, 2 Flower Selectings. Do we have Energy in hand? We do have Energy in hand, so we can't conceal cards. That's 6 potential cards here.
They need to be in the right order, though.
Here we go. Let's see what Nathan decides to choose first. And again, I believe there's only 1 switch card in hand, so that means they're gonna need another switch option as well if they choose to use it. Here we go. Big concealed cards finds the Twins. Chorus Experiment. Not a bad draw there. That's 5 cards. How many cards do we have in the deck? Okay.
About 12, maybe 10 to 12.
Doing taking a chance here. 5 cards from the Chorus Experiment. Counter Catcher.
Super Rod. Is there a Nest Ball? I do not see one. So you can at least Super Rod, and then you have a couple Flower Selectings to try to find it. But then you also have to not Flower Selecting into the Psychic, maybe? It looks like there was 9 in the deck.
Yeah. What do you put back here? Do you put back an extra Psychic energy?
I think you put back
just
the
to
extra
be safe?
Psychic and a Sableye, because I just know we're going to see a Flower Selecting that's going to be Psychic Energy Sableye.
It just has to happen.
I feel it in my bones.
Wouldn't be the first time. As, again, Super Rod, just a great addition to the hand there. As Pokegear, just look at...
Thin out the deck as much as possible, all right? You see 1 hit there in the Psychic Energy. No other way to get a basic Pokemon, so you're just going to need to draw into the Sableye.
Ooh, so there's only 3 cards left in deck. They just have to naturally draw into the Sableye. If they put back the Sableye, it's going to be a 50-50 to try and get it back. If they put back the Sableye plus a Psychic Energy, a little bit less than 50-50. Oh, this is a big one. Oh, something of note as well. Do they have an extra switch card? How many switch cards do they have in their hand? I believe I've only
There's
seen
one, but you can attach for the turn. So if you put back the extra Psychic, you can Mirage Gate, or you can Mirage Gate the Psychic now, and then
no, we attach the Lightning Energy. We attach the Lightning Energy. I think, yeah, it's just gonna have to be a switch to the Comfey, attach the Lightning Energy, use the Super Rod, and pray. Here we go. Here it is, Super Rod. There's the Sableye. Are we going for the Psychic Energy? Are we risking it?
You got to. You got to put it back
safety.
in. Yeah.
It's a safety pick here. Do you feel it, Jeremy? Is it going to be Sableye Energy?
There's 5 cards in the deck after the Super Rod. You can put back another energy. Trying to give a little buffer for these flower selectings, but if Nathan does not find this Sableye, he will not have an attack this turn.
Yeah, not the biggest fan of the water energy grab there.
Well,
using Mirage Gate as well already.
I don't know about that one.
Now, doesn't it seem impossible?
Yes.
Well, now we're going to see the Psychic Energy. All right, so since he attached and let go of them, both of them are attached to the Comfey. The Mirage Gate is done. So that means Nathan's going to have to find Sableye and then a Psychic Energy.
You only have 1 flower selecting, don't you? No,
you got 2.
He has 2. Okay. So it just literally doesn't, he just can't get it both at the same hand. It should guarantee it here. As long as it's not Sableye Energy, it should be game.
Oh.
There's a Sableye.
He does it. All right, switch card, flower selecting, grabbing the Psychic, Lost Mind, taking the KO, and just like that, Nathan Ginsburg wins the improbable one here, and now moves to 4-0 on the day.
That, Jeremy, that was a test of math there. That was, what's more, do we add in the extra energy to try and make it